Hi there, it's Janice Thompson from JazzleDazzleCraft.co.uk. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I live and work in Scotland. And today I am taking part in the Technique Tuesday blog hub. So I thought I would film a project as well so that you guys can see it. So the theme today for the Technique Tuesday blog up, which by the way this is the first time I've taken part in it, so hopefully it will go well. So I decided I wanted to use the Brightest Beauty stamp set today, and the theme is watercolour. So I've got Stays On ink out, I've got Mossy Meadow ink out, and I've got Mango Melody out. I'll tell you the reasons for that in a moment. And I've got two pieces of our shimmery white card and two blank Mossy Meadow card bases, which I'll put out the way just now. Because it's watercolour, it's going to get messy. I have one of these, in fact I've got two filled up freshly, are Stampin Up Spritzers. These are very inexpensive but very valuable in the craft room. They give a really fine mist. Now, I'm going to be honest here, when I first started with Stampin' Up, I thought, don't need them, I've got plenty spritzers, I've been crafting for a long time. Well, there is no other spritzer that I've found that has such a fine mist as this. So once I used it at some kind of craft retreat thing, I decided I needed to own it. So just give me a moment. I have this piece of grid paper which I've laminated, which makes so that when I'm doing things like watercolour I can protect my work surface. So this is the stamp set. It's new, it's in the July to December mini catalogue 2022, and it's a two-step stamp. So it's a branch with like berries, or it could look like furry flowers, and here's the second stamp for filling that in. It has this lovely texture stamp, and it has 4 nice sentiments. No beauty shines brighter than that of a good heart. So proud of you. You could use that a load of times. You're always stronger than you think. Ain't that the truth? And wishing you a happy retirement. And I would like to make a retirement card today for a very good friend who retired quite some weeks ago. And yeah, well, my life's just been a bit busy and I didn't get her a card made. So here we go. Let's hope this works. So the technique I'm doing today, well, I'm sort of doing a double technique to let you see the difference. So that it's about wet stamping, watercolour-y stamping to get that watercolour effect. There's lots of ways to do this. Our shimmery white cardstock does have a coating on it which makes it slightly resistant to water, so you can use a bit more water than you would on our normal basic white card. But of course our premium paper for doing watercolour is our Fluid 100. Worth getting. It's worth even, sometimes I do videos where I show you the same thing on shimmery white and on watercolour, but today I'm just going to do this, make myself 2 cards. I'm just filming this. I've not done it already, I'm just doing it. So I'll put that one to the side. The first one I'm going to do is where I spray the paper. In fact, I'll ink up the stamp first and then spray the paper. So I'm just inking the stamp up with our Mossy Meadow. You might think I should do it the other way about, and I might think that I should do the berries first, but I'll have a think about that later. So I've inked that up, and this time I'm going to spray the card. If you're seeing this now, you'll know it worked, or because I won't put it out. So I've just put a bit of water, well, fair spray. You see how it arches, but that's all right. We can go with that. And then, basically, I should have put the sentiment on first, but let's just pop that down. It's also a distinctive stamp, so we'll see what happens. So it is quite watery looking there, and I'm going to do the berries. Because the paper's wet, you can see the colour running a wee bit. Now this is the only block that the berries will fit on, so I'm having to swap stamps around because I only have one of these blocks, which is the E block, which is an indication to me I could do with getting a second E block. So I think I'll spritz this again before I put my berries on. Now, a lot of my Stampin' Up colleagues are telling me this is a branch of a wattle tree, which is an Australian native tree. However, it's not that. To me, looking at it, it could actually be a tree we find here in Scotland, which is a sea buckthorn. If it's got yellow, and it's got beautiful sort of golden yellow berries, which is why I've brought out my Mango Melody. I'm just going to spritz this again. Make it quite wet, and now it's starting to run a wee bit, which is fine. That's kind of what I was after. And I'm going to take the berries now. This is not going to be easy. I'll stand up, because what you need to do with two-step stamping is look at where you're popping things. So let's just aim these. It's watercolour, so it doesn't have to be accurate. I don't think I did that very well, but because the paper was actually, I'm just going to do it again actually, and then give it all a good spritz. Not my best demonstration of two-step stamping, but actually it's okay because it's given that nice watercolour-y look. Now I don't want to make it too wet, but I think it could just do with a... Right. Okay, because I'm just going to leave it. I actually like the look of it, so I'm just going to let that dry. So I'll pop that aside and then show you the other way to do something very similar. So I've got... This is quite... Wait, this time I'm going to spray the stamp rather than the... So again, swap. I've got... Sorry. Just clean this off. I'm going to do the leaves first. However, I don't necessarily have to take that off the back yet. We'll get in a mess if we don't, won't we? Close the ink pad because I'm spritzing water about. I don't want my pad to be unnecessarily wet. Inking this up, sticking with the same colours. This time I'm going to spray the stamp. Quite a wee bit away. Oh, try and get it on the stamp though, not over your table. Okay, now you could, two things you can do here. You could take your block to this paper, or you can do this. Take your paper to the stamp. Just give it a minute. So that's giving, oh, I have got the edge there, but I probably will trim this anyway. So see, with doing something like this, it's not precise, but it does give you different looks. Okay, once you're ringing the berries, I'm standing up to stamp because I can't see properly what I'm doing. Right, And again, we'll just stick with the same colours. The berries. Give it a little spritz. Wasn't really far away enough there. And now this time, because I can't do it the other way, I have to try and line up these berries or it will look completely daft. And then we'll just let that dry a little. So I'll bring in the other one and you'll see this was quite wet, so it's gone quite blurry. But what I'm going to do is stamp on top of that once it's dry. This, I think I'll just leave this alone and let it dry. I like the effect. What do you think? Are you okay with that? Do you think we need to do more of this? I think we'll just leave it. We'll just quit while we're ahead. So it's two slightly different techniques, but similar, using the same things. So this one I'm going to dry, so I'm going to bring in my heat gun. Whoops. And if you want to turn your volume down while I do this, it's fine. I've tried them before. Just still got some damp on this, so we'll give it another bit. Let's see if we can flatten it down. We can put this under a weight or something to flatten it. Whoops. I think I probably got it just a bit on the wet side. Quite like the blurry look, but I am going to go for to put some extra definition back in here. So I am going to ink up the stamp this time without any extra water and just aim it at the bloody leaves. Again, I'll stand up. Not so easy when your paper's warping a bit, but once it's completed I will flatten it before I get it into a card. I will trim it down. It's really beautiful and fun to play with, this stamp. Okay, so I think I've pressed enough there, so that brings the definition. So it's like you've done the watercolour and then you've ink penned the detail back in. I'm liking that now, much better. So when you do normal watercolour, that is what you do, is you ink the, well, lots of people do, you ink the detail back in. Just going to leave this one as is because I think that's pretty. So we'll have to decide which one we like better when we're finished. So how am I going to mount these up? Am I going to trim this? I think I'm going to have to trim that out, but then I could put my sentiment there. Although I would prefer it over here. I'm going to trim this down and then we'll see what we're going to do. So let's get the... I'm sure you'll agree that that's been fun. If I didn't have made that mark there, then I wouldn't need to take this down. So I've no idea where we're going here. So let's just take, see, have we taken, no, we've not taken all of that off. Right, let's see. We just take that to 11, shall we? Well, no, because I'm going to take some off the bottom too, shall we? Rather than it just suspended there. So let's see, what would we do? If we go 10.4 there, we'll just stop there, Janice. And then, what have we got? Maybe I want to take a bit off here. Right, so I still want kind of just take a wee bit off. Our proportions are all out, but it doesn't matter. It's actually not that bad. I think that's fine. And I do need a sentiment though. This one, I'm going to have to trim this down, maybe slightly differently, this one. We'll layer them onto something. Cool, I like it. And now that I've got quite a lot of the kinky bits away, we should be able to get this to stick down with double-sided tape if I layer it onto something. I think I'll just layer it onto, see, that's nice. I think we just layer it onto some Mango Melody. Let's not make a drama out of this. mind you, I've just had another thought. I have these note cards and envelopes here. Let's just double check these craft note cards and envelopes. This is the way I craft. I'm always winging it. Because as you do things, you see them differently. No, I'm going back to my, I'll go back to it. Look, we'll keep them for something else. You have to look though when a thought comes to you. I'm just looking for some Mango Melody. Here we go. Okay, so now I need to measure up what I did here. So, wait a minute, let's do the longest, the widest one is 11. That way, so let's just go 11.4 or 11.5. Go 11.5 because I know some people can't work in my sort of thing. And then this is 7.5, so we'll cut that to 8. So that will take that one. And then this one is shorter and fatter. So that one is, it's actually, let's just take that sliver off because it's 10.1, but let's just make it 10 and keep it simple and take that to 10.5. Is that right? Yeah, the brain just didn't come with me. It never does, it lags behind. Right, so, yeah, and then that is, like, let's just trim this to 9 point, something 0.5, 7.5. And then this one can be 8 as well, is that right? That way, 8. Right, there we go. Painful, I know, painful, I know. But then I thought, just while I was doing that, we need to give that other stamp a wee debut. So let's do a wee bit of tone on tone stamping with this before we make the cards up. So I need a block. Did I get a block ready? No, I never. Because the idea just came to me there just now. And this is the way I like to create. I know a lot of people don't. They like to know where they're going. But I just put a few ideas on my table. So I'm just going to stamp. Well, I'm killing my block here, haven't I? I'm just going to put some of this. Around the edges. And just take that dull, well, it's not dull, our card is actually beautiful, but this just adds a bit more texture. I forgot I was doing 2 and 3 generations, and then just, it's just to take the plainness. What I'll do is I'll do one like that and I'll leave the other one plain, and that'll be fine. Close this. I haven't done, I'm aware I've not done sentiment yet, but that's coming in a minute. Right. So, I am going to get my double-sided tape out, or my seal. Have I got a seal? I think I've got enough in here. Or is, yeah. We'll try seal and see how we go, because we need a fair bit. Well, that's a great start, isn't it? I want right. There we go. It always works if I use it on my silicone mat, but for the love of me, I don't know where I've put that just now. I am overdoing it here because I want to flatten this and I want it to stay down. Now you obviously need to be a bit careful of, whoops, look, let's get rid of this because it could still have damp and it's still got ink. Oh look, my cloth is nearly Mango Melody. And I'm knocking things about here. Am I still straight? Can you still see what we're up to? Right. I've got so much seal on this, it's sticking to my finger. So let's see if I can aim it at get it straight. As straight as it needs to be, and then really press it down. Even take your bone folder, because you want every bit of that glue to grab and make that paper be flat. Not bad, is it? Not bad at all. Now because I laid that down on that mat that had that on it, I've got splatters, which has now made me think, well, why not have more splatters? So, I don't know if this will work today. Not practiced it. Yep. Just adding splatters and that'll distract from my mess at the edge. So again, as you go, you see what's needed. That's cool. Enough splatter. Never enough splatter, but that is ready. It's good to go, and we can pop that onto that card base. You might think that's quite busy. I'm okay with that, so we'll just stick this on with our seal as well. Why not? It's there on my desk. I do have wet glue, but now just want to make sure that's even. There we go, that's that one. Still needs a sentiment, I get that, but let's just, right, let's do the same here and get this flattened. Because this was our very wet one. Probably use my seal up, but never mind. Should I have a refill? And if not, I'll get one. I'll be lucky if I can get my fingers off here. Want it quite near the edge, because it's quite crinkly at the edge. I think we'll be alright at that. Right. So I hope you like these as much as I do. Right, again, turn it upside down and really make sure that all that seal has made contact. See, it's quite flat again. And I'm not going to do splatter on that one, just so that you can see the difference between adding bits and not adding bits. So again, we'll just pop this on with seal. Again, whoops, maybe we will. Don't need quite as much on it now because it is flat, but just in case that shimmery white pulls that up, we'll just make sure it's going to be quite secure. Just making sure it's quite as straight as, no it's not, it's just a bit we're just going to have to go with it. We start pulling it up, we start ripping it. It's not bad at all. Okay, and then they just need a sentiment, and I do want to do this sentiment, so I'm just going to find a piece of Mossy Meadow. Am I? Even a bit of Mossy Meadow and a bit of black scrap. Why is it you never have? It's because I can't organise myself. Right, I do have a bit of Mossy Meadow here. There we go. Here's a scrap. And I am going to emboss my sentiment. So I am going to get my, whoa, look what I forgot. I've piled things on top, but I have my new embossing kit here. Look, I was doing stuff yesterday, so I've got this. Is the new Stamp Emboss toolkit. It's in the new catalogue, so we've got a nice brush, an emboss buddy, amazing reverse tweezers. They're really strong and a good grip, and I've already got my new Versamark out. But this is a great tray because look, it's got a screw so you can stop things coming out, or you can use this to pour it back in. I'm just going to flick. So I am going to use gold this time on the Mossy Meadow and get to, well, maybe if I can open this I will. So that saves me hunting for a bit of paper to do my embossing over. I will do it over that. So big fat embossing buddy, full. Mine was getting a bit scraggy, so this is nice and full. I'll just put it back in here for the moment. I usually have my wee screw top tub. That's what it came in. So this is super. It is really worth. I need to stamp on it first. Oh gosh. Right, so I've got a nice Versamark here. And let's hope this does emboss nicely. It's very, very small, so hopefully it will work. So it's, I think we'll just do 2 along here. Wishing you a happy retirement. And I can assure you that I'm biting my lip when I put that down for some reason. I'm going to do a third one. Shall I do a 4th one? Just because it's very fine, might not be the best for embossing, so let's just give ourselves a fighting chance. Right, so pop this in here, get my gold embossing powder. Bit heavy-handed with the powder, but it doesn't matter. And then I can use my tweezers maybe to pick that. No, I'm not. That doesn't. And she still spattered the powder over her table. That's not, that looks okay. So, look at me. Fire that back at the tray. Right, and I will pop that to the side and put that back in the tub in a wee while. These bits here are splattered, don't worry about that. Right, so now I need to get my heat tool out, which I had a moment ago, so it shouldn't be too hard. Let's just check there's no extra bits around the bits I want to use. And we'll just hold this like this and get going. Sometimes warming up from the back helps. Here we go. Oh, there's a wee bit not done, just always give it a wee look over. I think we're done now. Oh, there's still a wee bit here, isn't there? Or it could be that I've actually overdone them. If you keep going for too long, you can burn. It's okay. Right, so which two will I use? The original two look the best. Now, what I'm seeing is there's not such a high contrast here. With the gold and the mossy meadow, so to make that contrast come up a wee bit, I think if I brush or blend some mossy meadow over the top, it will give a higher contrast. Let's try. That's if I can find my ink. Right, okay, so you get actually more than one technique here today, aren't you? Now I know you're going to think, what are you doing? What are you doing, Janice? Yeah, see, that is looking a bit duller. Just what I'm looking for is to make the contrast between the gold and the green a bit higher. So I can't change the gold, but I can darken the green. And then I can take my soft cloth, and because the embossing is basically melted plastic, it resists my ink. The ink soaks into the paper, but it doesn't soak into the embossing, and I actually think that has improved a little now, so we need to trim this off a wee bit. That way, am I? No, I'm not. I'm just going to chop this bit here because I can't see what I'm doing. Just taking that, and then I'm going to have a look and see if I need to. Yeah, I actually just need to do this with scissors. So. I'm just going to cut this because it's pretty crooked. Sometimes if you go a bit closer you can see your line better. Either make it better or you make it worse. You decide. I'm just going to pop that over there with some dimensionals. This is a long video, I think, today. It's over the half hour, but do you know what? You've seen the process from start to finish. Just bring out these little black ones. There it is. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's time to stop for coffee, isn't it? I start making mistakes. But I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you, if you're not already a subscriber, I hope you will subscribe. Press the bell icon if you want notified when I am coming on again. Also, if you're not getting notifications and you would like to have notifications from me when I'm going live, I do have a WhatsApp broadcast list where I can add your phone number to that and I send out a message. You don't get to see anyone else's phone number on the WhatsApp notification, but only I know it, but you will get the notification that I'm going live. Right, so this one is the one that's okay. The other two I've got bits that I've not, I don't know, they're just a bit not right. Right, let's just, I mean, you could fussy cut it and going round the letters, but I'm not today. Just cut quite close to the tops there. It's not too bad at all. I'm just going to leave it at that. And where did I go with the there? The wee black dimensions, these are so handy. I'm quite happy with what I got, but do you know, I didn't think I needed them, but do you know, they are, because they don't show like through. The white ones when you look under are more obvious on a dark card. Maybe have the sentiment up the right way. Actually, that one's just a bit, I'm just going to cut a bit off it. So I cut a bit off the card as well. Well, I was going very good, but I don't think it's noticeable. Not going to stress over it. So there you go. Two watercolour techniques that are very similar but give you slightly different results with the same stamp, which is really good. You know that you can use a stamp in so many different ways. Buying one of our stamp sets, you can do lots of different things. We could even have gold embossed the berries. There's so many other things you could go on and do with that if you want. So I'm going to leave it at that, though. You can let me know, do you like the card, you know, which card do you like best? We'll call this one the tone on tone one, and this one the plain one. So let me know which one you like better. So thanks very much for bearing with me through that process. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.